Welcome to Lil's and Leia's Crime Chronicles. Today, we're diving into the chilling case of Elizabeth. Wettlaufer, a Canadian nurse turned serial killer. Elizabeth Wettlaufer was a registered nurse who worked in long-term care facilities in Ontario. Over the course of several years, she used her position to administer lethal doses of insulin to vulnerable elderly patients. Her crimes went undetected for a long time, partly because the deaths were often attributed to natural causes given the age and health of her victims.
Woodstock police received information that 8 people aged 65 to 96 had been murdered at area nursing homes over a 7-year span. They're dealing with a serial killer.
And when even I just got that registered feeling that she was going to be the one. Well, when I first started caring for her, she had quite the spirit. She was a very stubborn woman. So I needed her insulin overdose. Afterwards, I would hear wettlaufer in my chest.
What I can see here, there's 4 pages of handwritten document. Is that your handwriting?
This is it.
Okay, what parts of that?
That doctor thing is getting a little strange. I decided I didn't want to nurse anymore. I didn't want to hurt anybody anymore.
Right.
I felt like I wanted to use me.
Any feelings in your mind as far as knowing the difference between right and wrong?
Yeah, I knew the difference between right and wrong. But I thought this was something that God or whoever wanted me to do. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Absolutely not.
I've only ever had parking tickets. I've never been arrested for anything. I heard someone that died as a result of what I did. It could be a bit of a handful. He would grab the nurse's breasts and bags, and he would say horribly inappropriate things about his wife, that now he was there, he was going to all this stuff. And he did touch me inappropriately once.
And where was that? On your body? Running through.
About 9:30, I gave him a dose of 50 milligrams of insulin. Not diabetic. So throughout the night, he was yelling out, "I love you," and "I'm sorry." Not to me, but just you could hear him calling out in his room, and that's what he was calling out. And then at 3:30, the doctor came in and said that his cause of death was from an embolism due to his closed hip.
Wettlaufer was known to be a competent nurse, and her colleagues and supervisors did not suspect her of any wrongdoing. Her victims ranged in age from 75 to 96, and many had underlying health issues, which made it easier for her to mask her murders as natural deaths.
Felt pretty bad. And I didn't want to see the family again.
How did you deal with it?
Did some years in the computer and just tried to forget about it.
The family demanded you for the work that you had done.
Yes, and that I didn't have 4 hours. Yes.
How does that make you feel?
Awful.
You indicated that he wasn't a very nice man.
No, he wasn't. I wondered about the portion of how I chose him. And afterwards I did feel a release and a release. Like a relief of pressure.
Wettlaufer's method of using insulin was particularly insidious because it mimicked the symptoms of natural health decline in elderly patients. Insulin overdoses can cause severe hypoglycemia, leading to seizures, coma, and death. This made it difficult for medical staff and authorities to identify the true cause of death, allowing Wettlaufer to continue her killing spree for nearly a decade.
When I broke up in 2007, I was so angry. And it was like a voice said inside me, "I'll use you. Don't worry about it." I just had a sense after my marriage broke up that was going to use me for something.
Did you feel like you're doing the right thing for these people?
I felt like I was doing what I was supposed to do, but it wasn't what was right for them.
The turning point came when Wettlaufer voluntarily checked herself into a psychiatric hospital and confessed to her crimes. She told the staff there about her actions, and they immediately contacted the police. This led to her arrest and subsequent investigation, which uncovered the full extent of her crimes. The case of Elizabeth Wettlaufer serves as a grim reminder of the importance of vigilance and accountability in healthcare settings. It also highlights the need for better mental health support for healthcare professionals to prevent such tragedies from occurring in the future.
There wasn't like scrub breasts and asses. One afternoon I heard from him that he did grab me. And again, I got that feeling inside that it was time to go. Gave him an overdose of insulin after supper. And I believe he died the next day.
And how did it make you feel when he passed away?
Listen, I kept having a lot of guilt. A lot of guilt. There was a period of 3 years when I decided to stop killing.
Why not your life at that point?
I always was putting this pressure on myself to be a really good nurse and do everything perfectly. And every once in a while, when I give that wolf with a hiding mark or two and take it, then that pressure was gone.
Did you ever use that word?
Yeah, probably once or twice a week. Well, when I first started caring for her, she was walking and talking, and she had quite a spirit. She once punched a man because she overheard the nurses telling one of the gentlemen, "No, you can't push your wife around." And she turned around and she said, "You can't treat a woman like that." Boom!
And the man?
And just a man. Eventually, she had dementia, didn't take her pills well, didn't eat well, very stubborn woman. And it was always funny, even when I just got that red searching feeling that she was going to be the one.
The tragic stories of these victims highlight the vulnerability of elderly residents in long-term care facilities and the critical need for rigorous oversight and accountability in these settings. Wettlaufer's actions have left a lasting impact on the families of her victims and have prompted significant changes in the regulation of long-term care homes in Ontario.
How long did it seem to be waiting to die? Again, I had that feeling that, this was the one. That night, she was very lucid, and we talked about how much she liked blueberry pie and ice cream. So on my break, I went to Walmart. I got a small blueberry pie and some ice cream and brought it to her, and she ate 3 or 4 bites, and it was her time to go.
What do you mean by that? Maybe she was towards the end of her life at that point?
Know that she was the person to go next.
She wasn't combative.
No.
Where was that feeling?
In my chest area. After I did it, I got that laughter.
During her trial, Wettlaufer expressed remorse for her actions, claiming that she was haunted by voices that compelled her to kill. However, this did little to lessen the horror and pain felt by the families of her victims. The public inquiry that followed her conviction brought to light several systemic failures in the long-term care sector, including inadequate staffing, poor oversight, and a lack of proper reporting mechanisms for suspicious deaths.
And she's just very outspoken and feisty. one night she said, you know, I'm going to die tonight. Why don't you get me into the deathbed so I can die? So I said, okay, well, let's put him inside the spare room if that's what you want. So we did, and then I thought, well, she must be the next one. So I gave her another dosage when she became hiatus and she died.
And Mary ever dying to harm you or
No.
upset you in any way?
No. She was fun.
Sorry, the next time you guys will be out here. Sure.
Which one has the vodka in it? Eventually, it was decided that she needed a one-on-one staff. It was the role of the church nurse. That was nuts. She just got harder and harder to look after, and when I have had to look after her, I'm starting to get the feeling about Serge again. If I could somehow give her enough of a dose to give her a coma, or something to change her brain waves, maybe make her less, maybe make her less mobile, less hard to handle. So, yeah, that was a dose.
You remember how much insulin you gave to Sue?
It was a lot. It was a lot. I'm going to say 80 long-acting and 50 short-acting, something like that. That was a lot of insulin.
Why so much to
Wasn't sure she was that. And I am sorry. I'm sorry for what the family's went through at the time. And I'm extremely sorry for what they're going to go through. It's awful.
if you could say something to them, what would you say?
I'm sorry isn't enough. I honestly believed at the time that God wanted me to do it. But I know now that's not true.
You could have been in this situation and taken this to your grave.
I haven't got adult to do right order.
Thank you for joining us on this somber journey through the story of Elizabeth Wettlaufer's victims. Their stories serve as a poignant reminder of the importance of vigilance and compassion in the care of our most vulnerable. Stay tuned for more episodes of Lil's and Leah's Crime Chronicles. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious. Don't forget to like and subscribe.